Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to DC Daily. I'm Tiffany Smith, and it is Monday, September 17th, 2018. So let's get right into the news. Now we got some breaking news. We finally got a first look at Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker in the upcoming Origin film currently in production. Director Todd Phillips, who co-wrote the story, posted a photo of Phoenix on his Instagram, giving fans a glimpse of the Clown Prince of Crime before he got his makeup. The film is set to premiere on October 4th, 2019. For now, check out the post Todd made captioned Arthur. Acclaimed writer Sue Deconnick is making waves with Aquaman. She'll be the first female comic scribe to take on the King of the Sea in a solo series, and will be joined by Green Lantern's artist Robson Roca. The new series sees Arthur Curry awaken on an island surrounded by forgotten sea gods, and explores his relationship with his absent mother. DC publisher Jim Lee likens the new tale to Batman Year One, and promises a character examination that will show fans what really makes Aquaman tick. Meanwhile, Justice League of America writer Steve Orlando is set to shapeshift the future of the Martian Manhunter series. He'll work alongside artist Riley Rossmo, who thrilled fans with his craft on Dark Knight's Metal, Dark Knight's Rising. Both these titles are set to debut in December. And speaking of comics, first up today we spotlight Mr. Miracle number 11. In this issue, Scott Free is approached by Darkseid with a proposition. If Scott sends his newborn son to Apocalypse, Darkseid promises peace will reign on New Genesis. Can Scott trust one of DC Universe's most nefarious beings? Check out the book this week to find out. We also get Pearl number 2 this week in Brian Michael Bendis' acclaimed new Jinx World line. The issue continues to develop the world of master tattoo artist and reluctant assassin Pearl. Looking to escape her violent way of life, Pearl's darkest secret might be her only way out. Learn what it is in this issue. Finally, Damage number 9 sees the massive monstrosity get his powers back as he continues his mission of revenge. Teaming up with a mysterious government agent, there appears to be nothing that can stop Damage from killing the woman that made him into what he is today. But appearances can be deceiving. I don't know about you guys, but we are still riding the high of Batman Day this past weekend. In honor of that, WB Games is unleashing a slew of exciting content in their mobile strategy RPG game, DC Legends, starting with the limited-time PvP event, The Longest Night. And if strategy RPGs aren't your thing, don't worry. The critically acclaimed mobile version of Injustice 2 has got you covered. Don't forget that you have until tomorrow to earn special shards in the new Batman arena to unlock and upgrade the Justice League version of Batman. So get tapping. Before we go, we love to highlight our creators here in the DC universe. And Tom King tweeted last week about how excited he is to be working with Andy Kubert. He showed off some classic art from Andy and said, "Andy Kubert from 1990, the best. Can't believe I'm working with him." Tom and Andy, of course, have teamed up for a 12-part Superman story in Superman Giant, available exclusively at Walmart. The first part of that story came out a couple weeks ago, so be sure to go pick it up if you haven't already. So much has been going on here on DC Universe, and to help us break it down is Hector Navarro. Hector, what are you watching today on DC TV?
Hey, what's up, DC Universe? Now, while we're waiting for all of our favorite DC shows to come back for their new seasons, we're going to be taking a look back at some classic DC TV series and episodes throughout the week, starting with The Adventures of Superboy from 1988. 1988 was a big year for Superman. It was the 50th anniversary of him first appearing in Action Comics #1 all the way back in 1938. And Superboy was one of the many things that they had planned, this premiere of this new live-action show. Now, it was originally called just Superboy, and then later retroactively called The Adventures of Superboy. And in this pilot, we learn that Clark Kent is attending Schuster University, of course named after Superman co-creator and legendary comic book artist Joe Shuster. He's also attending this university with Lex Luthor, who looks like a great 80s villain, Perry White's son TJ, and Lana Lang. And I gotta tell you guys, the 80s fashion on display in this show is pretty incredible. If you thought shoulder pads were out, they're back in, baby, and they're bigger than ever. And in this first episode, just like any great Superman story, the first time we see Clark utilize his powers is to prevent a plane from crashing. We've seen it in movies and in cartoon shows, and it is just now Superman tradition at this point. And the pilot deals with an ancient cursed relic that may or may not have some kind of an effect on Clark Kent. So you're going to have to watch the episode to find out. That is the very first episode of The Adventures of Superboy, and it is currently on DC Universe. Enjoy.
Well, that's it for the news today. But now let's check in with our very own Whitney Moore, who sat down with George Pérez for the first part of a 3-part documentary series.
Ever since they first premiered in The Brave and the Bold, fans have loved the Teen Titans. When DC tasked Marv Wolfman and Len Wein with revitalizing the team for the 1980s, they knew there was only one artist for the job, the legendary George Pérez.
So I received a phone call from Marv asking, because of my success over at Marvel, if I'd be interested in doing the Teen Titans, and quite frankly, I wasn't. With the way things were going, I didn't think the book would last 6 issues. But I always dreamed of doing the Justice League of America over at DC. I said, well, if you give me at least one issue of Justice League of America, I'll do the Teen Titans for, as long as it lasts, or at least get it going. By the time we reached issue 8, it was a story called The Day in the Lives, and I found out how much emotional investment I've now had with the characters, how much I really enjoyed being with them. That the Justice League was a book that I ended up dropping, and I stayed on with the Teen Titans. And reaction to the book from issue 1 was phenomenal. Marv encouraged me to write, even though I had not done any writing at the time, because he liked me as an idea man as well. And it was a beautiful, beautiful relationship. To this day, I consider Marv Wolfman the gold standard by which I measure any collaborative effort. Who knew? I mean, when he described Raven, when he described Starfire, I said, okay, I designed them. And unlike a lot of projects, all of them were accepted on their first design. The only exception was one of the editors, Joe Orlando, when he saw the picture of Starfire, said, make her hair a little longer. Didn't know a can of worms he just opened up by asking me to do that. Marv and I started injecting a bit more of our own personalities into certain characters. Mine was more cyborg because I shared more of his upbringing. I was a boy from the South Bronx in New York, so I can identify with him. Marv had, brought some of that dark Gothic stuff to Raven. And in the case of Cyborg in particular, is that Cyborg has become the preeminent African-American character over at DC Comics, thanks to a lot of editors who were reading the comics at the time, who are now in positions of authority or power in the company now. Unlike so many at the time, he wasn't just a black version of an existing character. He was an original character. He was strong. There was a certain authenticity to him as far as his background and the way we handled him, and a great origin story, and something that a lot of people could identify with. Starfire was basically, she was the bombshell of the group. Red Sonja in outer space, who is the most powerful member of the group. Also one of the savage innocents, that person who expresses her emotions freely. And her counterpart was Raven, who was very repressed, very sometimes dour, and was always looking at things almost from a fatalistic point of view, because she was always on guard that things are going wrong because she had a demon for a father. In doing those characters, you have a character who has a lot of science fiction and techno background, so you can do those type of stories with Cyborg. You have an outer space alien, so you can do interstellar stories with Starfire, and you can do more occult mystery type of ghost stories with Raven. So you had 3 characters, all of whom have a particular mood that allows the stories to be a lot more broad than you have regular crime fighting. It could be pigeonholed, other than they were a superhero team. The types of stories we could do allowed us, a great freedom. At that point, they were the young sidekicks who were going to go on and become heroes on their own right. Obviously, Robin, having been the first kid sidekick in comics, and because of his importance to Batman, they wanted to return Robin to the Batman series. They couldn't do that while he was still a member of the Titans, because you don't want to now make him a sidekick after him being a leader for so long. So we were allowed to then do the thing that we didn't think we would be able to do, is to have Dick Grayson's Robin grow out of being Robin and became Nightwing. That was a very, very big moment where you felt like, yes, it's like I've grown up, I've left my home, and now I am a man. I sometimes wonder, why did we end up lucky? How did we, find lightning in a bottle there? And you never know. I mean, I think one of the great reasons that Marv and I, when we did the comic, we just did it because we loved telling stories, we loved creating characters, and we try to put some kind of emotional investment into the characters that the fans managed to feel as well. They can tell that we loved what we were doing, and that was infectious.